Well, hello and welcome. This podcast will be about motivating you to stick to your training plan, help keep you motivated when things get tough. This is Davina. So I think a lot of times we talk ourselves out of our own plan or the plan that our trainer has for us by trying all kinds of different things. And the issue is with that is that if you want to get 1% better every day, because if we could do that, if we can just improve where us and our horse are at every day a little tiny bit, say 1%, then we'll really be getting 100% better in 100 days, which is not a lot of time. That's less than 6 months. Of course, you may not work with your horse every day, but that's neither here nor there. We really get caught up in not sticking to our plan and keeping things simple. And I know it's, oh my gosh, hair. If you're on the podcast, I'm grooming my horse and it's windy and I'm downwind, unfortunately, trying to figure out how to do this. And even though it's still winter for us, the horses are starting to shed because of the time change. Anyway, so a lot of times we try to talk ourselves out of what we should be doing because we don't see the little bits of improvement every day. And so today we're going to be talking about that and how to stay motivated, and also a few tips and tricks to keep you motivated and help you see your progress. So that is what we're doing. And then we're also giving Davina a spa day. So a lot of times it's hard to stick to the plan, and that's just really what we need to do. But we really like instant gratification. We'd like to see that our progress is doing something. So a lot of times our trainer will ask us to slow down or just work on one behavior, and it can be really difficult to do that. But I want to encourage you to keep it simple, and then we'll talk about some ways that you can see your progress. However, the first thing is it can be really easy, even if you have a trainer, to get really caught up in all of the education that you have for free on the internet. The internet is a really incredible resource, believe me, but it's really easy to go off on all kinds of different directions when you're seeing all these different techniques and things. And I just think it can be really difficult, and we can kind of bounce all over the place because of that. So, oh wow, am I covered in hair? So, even if you're getting alternate education, try to stick to your plan or your trainer's plan, and just know that, like, you know your horse best, and your trainer should know you and your horse a lot better than, you know, what you may get from a random YouTube video or something like that. So definitely keep that in mind and just try not to get distracted and stick to your plan. A lot of times we get inundated with a lot of information, and it can just really throw us off track. Because we're getting so much information, just try to stick to your plan or your trainer's plan. And then if you do have a trainer or a professional overseeing you, I just have to say that the biggest thing that you can do to get your training right is to get your timing on point with any of your training, whether that be your groundwork, working through one little stable manners thing, whatever it is. Make sure that you have your timing right. And if you're not sure, have a professional who's done what you want to do oversee your timing, because that is a really crucial piece to get things to go right. But if you're doing all that and you have your little plan, and then you're showing up and listening to what your horse is saying about that, You should be in good shape to be getting 1% better every day. And when you get 1% better every day, you'll be 100% better in about 6 months. Maybe a year if you work on it every other day or whatnot. But that brings me to my next point, which is that horse training, to do it correctly, or not correctly, but to really make long-term behavioral change or have a really steady school master, it takes a long time. Davina, who I have here, she is 15. I got her at 8 halter trained, and I have been working on her training since then for 7 years now. And just the past few years are we doing a lot of riding, but that is just at no fault of her own, just me not being able to ride a lot. But she did equestrian vaulting and dressage training in hand and on the lunge. She was taken out by hand on the trails at first, and then this past year I started her on long lines and learning to drive eventually. So, these things take a really long time, and sometimes things can get messed up and you have to start over. But all we can do is listen to what the horse is saying to us and then stick to our little simple plan. Pretty good example of this real quick is that I brought Davina out to long line her yesterday, and I can't use my arena right now because I'm building some things and I have a horse in there who's not getting along with her and won't mind his own business. So you don't need an arena or anything. We'll get into that next episode to do dressage training or driving or ride your horse or train your horse. But with that, I took her out long lining, and I expected her to act like she did in the arena, to be honest, because she is just such a mellow lady. And she has gone out independently with me riding her and everything on trails, and she's real comfortable on the lunge and being led. But I took her out on long lines, and much to my surprise, it was nothing like in the arena. In the arena, she's going around, doing everything that she ought to be doing. But when I took her on the trail, on the long lines, I had to stay by her head and shoulder and eventually her belly. And I couldn't just be behind her. She wasn't ready to walk out in front of me down an unknown trail. But I used that to my advantage, and on our way back, I did get her to where I wanted her just for the last few steps because we were headed home and she knew where we were going. And so I was able to drop back then. But see, I got what I wanted, but I got maybe 2 minutes of it through that whole hour session. But it doesn't matter. What she's getting is the experience, the exercise, and she is learning the thing, and I'm listening to her, what her behavior tells me. And I have taught my horse that if she's unsure about something, I would rather her just stay still. And so her not moving to me is not a big deal. It just means she's unsure. And so I'm going to support her more. And then we're going to eventually build to what my plan was. And this is just to say that even horse trainers struggle with this and having motivation and sticking to their plan. And especially with our own personal horses, we can get really caught up in emotions. And so a couple tips to help you. The first one is get a trainer to help you with your timing if you're not sure that piece is taken care of. And there's a lot of great ways to do that. You can even send in video to someone with some context. There's a lot of trainers who will do that. And then, my goodness, I thought we'd be farther along in the grooming process by now. But we are just still getting dirt and hair off. And we haven't even gotten to a soft brush. But some other tips to help you stay motivated. One that I've learned through starting my YouTube channel and getting footage for clients for my YouTube channel is that, oh my gosh, I have hair in my mouth, hang on. Oh yes, another way to stick to your plan and stay motivated is to track your progress. whether that be journaling about it or just filming your progress, even little bits. You will definitely, because for instance, I don't always have time to film a whole riding lesson or a whole client session, but I will film just little bits and pieces here and there when I can, pull out my phone, and that footage really does add up, and you do see progress when you look back a few months. So my suggestion to you is to write down that progress or film it and celebrate your little wins throughout the process on video or in your journal. And then go ahead and look back every month or a few months and see how much better you've gotten and what improvement you've made. And also, that footage and looking back can help you discern if you start having a problem you didn't have before, that there's been a behavioral change. A lot of times with that, there's, a problem with our confidence, our timing. Maybe we are doing more than we thought and need help learning a new piece. But a lot of times it's food, friends, freedom, as in nutrition, stable management, having time with friends and exercise, things like that, or a pain issue. So we really can keep an eye on our progress that way and then find issues and have some data to back us up that there's been a change and things like that. So that's really awesome way to stay motivated and track your progress at the same time. It goes so quick. Gotta hurry before she eats that whole hay bale. Yeah, so that was my last tip. I am tacking up Davina and we're gonna head out and long line again. Just be sure to follow me wherever you're listening. I really appreciate it. Really helps me out a lot so we can educate people and help everybody become better horsemen.